Welcome back to the Underground Station. My name is Star, aka Star J. I am the host of the Underground Station, and right now we're back doing another Creatives Around the World series, and we have our first guest of the season, Samaya. Welcome, my friend.
Yes.
Glad that you talked about the gym revenue, the musical, and them finding you on TikTok. Like the power of social media. The power of social media. Like, yes, a lot of opportunities there. And just give a little bit more about your experience on stage and, being out in front of larger audiences and stuff like that.
Yeah, I had to, even to this day, I think I would rather perform in front of a big audience than a small one because I feel like everybody's like looking at me. Like you can sing in front of 50,000 people, but I have trouble singing in front of like 5 people. And so people don't really recognize it. So I'm like, oh, I can't see you because it's too many of y'all. So that's okay with me, So, but when I was doing Jam, it ended up, like I said, it was one of the most challenging things I've ever done, like pushing me more as a singer. And I'm trying to like get into movement and stuff. And once again, what would Beyonce do? I'm like, Beyonce would learn them dances. Beyonce would take it up a notch. So I also had to take what I learned from like pulling and stuff about like stage when we had drama class and stuff. And you had to learn like upstage, backstage, So I had to learn some of that and like those cues. And I was watching the dancers like change and like in the hallways, like right before the next thing. And I was like, oh, it's a whole different experience, like an actual production. So, and I was never like a musical theater kid. A lot of them that were in Jam, they are musical theater kids. So having a newfound respect for like just theater in general and just a push and like I said, the grit, the time, the consistency. Like we were practicing for months and it was like long practices. And the dancers, I give it to the dancers. I'm only dancing a little bit, and that's by choice. But the dancers like doing these full out routines back to back to back. And this is not a short show. So it was really fun. And like I said, they are just the most supportive. Like we start off the shows with prayer every single time, start off rehearsals with prayer. And then after the shows, we went out and we just had a good time. It's like when we're there, they leave it all on the floor. Everybody makes it their own. They really do push you and they're listening for, okay, does this sound good for this person? Let's move this from there. We think that you can do this. So try this. So I was learning songs I had never like had
Right.
even known before.
That's from like the 70s and 2000s to the 2000s.
Yeah, so because the showcase was all the top 40 hits from the 70s to the 2000s. So, we're singing like Anita Baker and we're singing Ariana Grande, and then we're also singing Smokey, I forget it, Smokey House, and it's just like burlesque songs, and it was just such a wide range. And then we also had to have costumes that matched the vibe, and then we had to change into them before the next cue. And mind you, the songs are just rolling, rolling, rolling. It's a whole production.
Whole production. And how can you tell the people like how they can they rewatch it, or like can we?
That's a good question. Well, the page is Jam Review. They have an Instagram, they have TikTok, and you'll find like mini clips and stuff on their page of the show. They just did another show May 21st. They do a Christmas show. I just got here, so I just got here. I'm new around here, but they do a Christmas show. I might be a part of the Christmas show. After that, and then they're going to do the show. They do it annually, so it's always usually around April and May. So if you didn't catch it this time, stick around to see if there's a Christmas show, and stick around next year for the other shows, because I'm definitely going to try to swing back to that one. Yeah, but follow them, Jam Review. They're great. They're great people.
That's what it's about. All right, so next we're gonna talk about you as an artist, as a singer, your music. You know, how do you get in that mood of writing a song? And also we're gonna touch on your latest new video, Undone. You released that on your birthday, an exclusive premiere show. Like I guess I can say showing. Yeah,
Like a
showing.
exclusive premiere.
Yeah, exclusive premiere.
Showing.
We saw the music video. Very great vibes. You did a professional
Thank you.
job of just how you
Shout out
presented
to
it.
Orange Pie.
Yes, shout out to Orange Pop.
Well, okay, me as a music artist, how do I get into that mood? First of all, I'm trying to learn how to write without having to be in a mood. That's one because I'm singing mainly about like love and finding myself and just like my journey of life. So sometimes really what I'm writing out of a lot of times is like pain and like a depressive episode or a dramatic day or like I'm on this high of whatever, just like feeling really good. And so I usually take those moments to create. But what I'm trying to do is just learning how to create out of those moments of stillness when there's actually like nothing happening. My life is boring and things are just great. It's just solid. I'm figuring out how to create when I have like a task. So that's something that's been a challenge for me, but that I'm enjoying kind of like curating. And now, but most of the time I end up writing out of like those places where I have to get something off, because I realize, your body is not a temple to hold like trauma. You're going to end up, it's going to end up coming out in some form. So I'm choosing to do it in a place that's healthy and I can release it where I know other people might be able to relate to it. So that's kind of who I am as an artist. One thing that I actually learned this because I did an 8-week course with the singer Her. She did this course online and it was very random. It was years ago, also exclusive. I did a course with her. It was like basically like a virtual class, and it's like a songwriter's class. It teaches you how to write it. So technically, I feel like she really taught me how to write because she would say like your first thought is usually your best thought, and so I would hear a song and I will always record myself on my first listen and I'm humming or singing. Whatever comes to me, I create words out of it. So that's usually how I write. That's like my process. I also watch like Kendrick Lamar do an interview with Rick Rubin, and he talked about his process when he writes it down. He puts like he underlines it or writes the way that he says it so he remembers the emotion from when he first wrote it or heard it. And so I started like kind of implementing those things when I write. And so I think it's been helpful for me when I'm getting in the studio and stuff. I got a lot of music like just in the vault.
Okay.
Eventually,
Yes, we waiting. We're waiting.
eventually, but that is like my process, like as a writer. But I think now I'm kind of moving over into getting other people's I guess collaboration on it because I want to learn how to write with others because my writing is like my safe space a little bit. So I don't want to like I don't want to I'm not used to writing with other people in my like safe little space. And I told you what the place that I'm writing out of. So it's kind of hard when I got somebody over here and I'm like, excuse me, can I get a little privacy?
Yeah,
So
I get it.
it's different. But I've been enjoying collaboration. So it's been good.
Collaboration, yes. And talk about Undone, just like the music video behind that. How did you get the storyline behind that and your vision?
I'm a visionary. Sometimes when I hear a song, I can already start creating what I see in my brain from it. It's like a movie in my brain. So anytime I hear a song, I can do that pretty much with anybody's song. So with mine, I was just like, let me just make it come alive. I had it undone in my phone for like 2 years before I released it. And I was just like, there's nothing else I can do with this. I just need to release it. I released the song on my birthday and then released the music video at the year mark of the release for it. And when I did that, it was really just it was amazing. So the part of how I came up with it, I literally just started visualizing it as I was listening. I'm like, oh, we could do a love story. And I was thinking like a love and basketball vibe, like these two people that meet each other when they're younger, and then they grow up together. They don't even realize that they really like each other, and then when she finally is like, I'm looking at you, I think I kind of like you, and then um and then they grow up and he has somebody else already and she's like, oh, okay. So now at this point the song now means to me that you have to choose yourself. You have to choose yourself. You have to choose joy. You have to choose happiness. And sometimes that is just picking you. And the funny thing is I wanted it to end with them choosing each other, But the guy who actually played Drew, his name is Keon, he couldn't make it to the last scene. So we actually pivoted. And we decided, we was like, well, actually, there is a deeper meaning to the song about, the last lyric is I choose joy. So it's just like, oh, choosing yourself, even though like you maybe weren't chosen, or, it didn't work out the way you thought it was. And so, yeah, so I thought that was like an even more beautiful message than what we originally did about like this fairy tale. Cause sometimes, things aren't actually a fairy tale. So that, and I worked with Rakira Graham, Josh, and Kalisha. And so they were really, really good about like helping me put together everything. So like Josh Goodson, he was like the silent assassin. Like he's the one that actually came to me. He found me on Instagram and he was like, hey, I like what it is that you're trying to do with yourself as an artist. Like I really respect you. Can I offer my services of like shooting behind the scenes? And so he ended up making like a mini documentary of like my process, which I thought was so interesting because like you talked about before, you don't always get to really see yourself from other people's lens. And so I'm like, wow, that's me. And then he did these like mini interviews with like my sister and just the cast, Rakira and Kalisha. And so it was just really nice. And so doing the premiere, I never wanted to do the premiere. So it was the parents of the kids that I had from the first scene that reached out to me and were like, hey, when are we gonna get a chance to see the music video? I'm like, oh, when it dropped. And they was like, we don't get to see it before everybody else. And I was like, well, that's a good idea. Like, we can do that. And so I was like, okay, let me take it up a notch. Cause what will Beyonce do? Let's take it up a notch. And I decided to do the premiere in Eaton Hotel. I had made a connect from helping another organization, Something Different DC. I volunteer with them. And so I had made a connect through Eaton Hotel because they had an event there. So I reached out to the connect from Eaton Hotel. And she was just like, yeah, we're actually having a special for the month. And I was like, oh, perfect. And so it just worked out, God timing. It was just God alignment. So it was really good. And so when I did the premiere, I had everybody like dress up. You were there. I had everybody like dress up, and and I just wanted to make it a moment because this is my first baby, my first music video, and I just didn't want to half do it. So I'm like, you know what? Let's take it up. The people, you got to get the people what they want, and the parents are like, yeah, I want to see my child here. Yeah, so it was really good. I loved it, and I have many more crazy ideas that I'm going to bother Kalisha, Rakira, and Josh about in the future, and so they know. So we're working on some.
Yeah, can't wait to see more. Can't wait to see more music. Again, winding down. That's y'all go listen.
She had an exclusive listen on that, and she was like, "Oh yeah, you gotta drop this." We was in the car. I forgot where we was even coming from, but yeah, winding down. I want that one to be like almost like a block party vibe. I don't know if you've seen um the song. Work, 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 work. Yeah, like that. I wanted to feel like, we hot and sweaty in the club and we looking across from each other, we, trying to get the vibe. So that one's going to be more fun block party vibe. So yeah, I think that one's going to be cool.
You look at a music video for that one too?
You know it.
Okay, we love that. We love that. And just to like close us up a little bit as we near the end. I do want to touch a little bit about the next generation, Grammy U, like you being in that group and experiencing that, like, and how has that been for you?
Yeah. So first of all, Grammy U, for those who don't know, is basically a chapter of the Grammys. So the Grammys itself is an organization, and then they have chapters that are throughout the entire nation. So they have a Los Angeles chapter, they have a Washington, D.C. chapter, Chicago chapter, so on and so forth. So my homegirl, Nia, who's also an artist, Nia Simone, she used to take me to the studio with her, and she told me her mentor was the president of Grammy U Washington, D.C. chapter at the time. Her name is Tamara Wellens. And so she was like, yeah, like you should just join Grammy U. And it's like a whole application process. You have to get a recommendation from somebody. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna do it because she used to take me to the events with her as her plus one. Yeah. And it was like, Grammy U, like they have conferences with like real celebrities and stuff all over the world. And so I was just like, it's so accessible. And they're also giving you gems and just like free stuff and just putting you on to now, like putting you in the doors with all these execs and stuff. And so, yeah, I definitely knew that I wanted to apply. It was like 6 months before I heard back, and they were like, "Oh yeah, like you've been accepted." And so now I got a chance to go to LA and go to the Grammy Awards and all this other stuff that they're offering to people that are in it, like young creatives in the industry or trying to get into the industry of all forms. Even if you're like, even if you want to be like an A&R or like a producer or engineer or an artist or just a songwriter, like they have like a space for every kind of creative. And so Grammy U was like, I like just recently I went to New York to see Willow Smith and Jacob Collier to speak on a panel just about songwriting and her process. And it was just really cool. Like Willow Smith is like right in front of my face. I can talk to Willow Smith right now and ask her stuff. And I've been in those situations where I'm actually being able to talk to these people and get gems from people that are actually there. So I would encourage anybody. I think the application, you have to do it when you're 25 and under though. So it's like from 18 to that time.
I missed that
And then I
opportunity.
know. And then they have like they have a student one and then a non-student one. So at that time I had already graduated, but I was under 25. And so yeah, like I said, I encourage any young creative or anybody interested in being in industry in any form to join Grammy U, because it's like you talk about a hub of like networking and being in the right room at the right time and people that are actually pouring into you, that are in the industry and giving you gems. And you can ask, like talking to Coco Jones and Duran Bernard and just like
You was in there with everybody.
dang,
You was
like
in there with everybody.
everybody. So yeah, I think it's just a really good opportunity. So I would just encourage anybody that's in the arts, and even if it's not Grammy U, like you said, you missed the mark. Find something that will be just good and that will just speak to you creatively. And luckily, I had a friend that would bring me along with her in her journey that inspired mine. So if you see somebody or you see something, an open mic or whatever, or NBTA event, yeah, you should go. And you never know who you're gonna meet. So yeah.
I love that. Do you have like any final advice you could give to the other creatives? Anything else you want to speak on just about yourself, you growing as an artist in your industry?
Well, I hope that everybody knows now that I still struggle with a bunch of things and even seeing myself as other people see me. And I think that humanness is a huge part. Like people think when you come into it, like you just been had it together. And it's like, no, you don't always have it together, but you have to do it scared. Um, you have to take chances. And, even if you have to go under somebody else's wing, like my homegirl Nia taking me with her to these events before I had the courage to be like, you know what, I'm gonna do this for myself. You know, putting yourself around the right people, I think is gonna be just important, but just also just trusting the process. SZA says in one of her songs, trying to grow without hating the process. And that's literally a thing. Like you're gonna grow regardless because you're trying, because you have a desire. It's already in there. So you just have to, you just have to do it. Honestly, I'm doing it scared. I'm doing it without knowing, and I'm just trusting God and trusting the process.
Trusting the process. I love that. And when can we expect more music?
You know, um, I'm kidding. Well, I have more performances coming up than music right now. Right now, just to be transparent, I'm taking my time with the music because I want to put something out that feels good to me. And I have like a mini EP that's in my phone, and I've been switching it around. I'm like, oh, I want this here and I want this here, and I've been having people send me beats and stuff, and I'm like, oh, maybe I want this in there now. So it's looking like an album.
Okay. All right.
That's really what it is.
For that.
But you will see live performances from me. I'm performing June 13th at the Renaissance Block Party in Baltimore, Maryland, to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of Poppleton Rec. And then I have another show with Isaiah and the Squad. That's the band that I'm a part of. So we'll be doing shows. Yeah, look, we're in a band unofficially, but like officially, I'm a part of the group for real now. Okay. So me and him, we have songs together. My homeboy, Maurice Valentino, me and him, we did something that had never been done before for me. He's really huge in the anime community. And so he's the first Black person that ever hosts MomoCon. And excuse me to the anime community if I'm saying any of this wrong. But yeah, Maurice Valentino, me and him, he had me learn one of the most popular anime songs known to date. It's called Projection. And I did it and it sounded so good and we did it together. So just taking risks, taking chances, you guys got to do that and do something out of your comfort zone. You might learn something. So,
Well, thank you, Samaya. I'm so proud of you always. And, you are always just a motivator to me. And I hope I'm the same to you. And just, keep going, keep walking behind God, keep walking on your process, and just keep flourishing, like, because you're doing the thing.
thank you,
And I'm so proud of you, friend. But we definitely gonna have to have a part 2 because we have a lot more stuff that we still need to get into. But thank you again for coming by.
Of course, I appreciate you.